am Crystal and Human. We are here in Fremont. I am Sans Nathan today, which is a little sad, but what is not sad is we're at an Iris reunion, basically, and we have Emelyn Hart, who is an incredible missionary of 12 years. In Pemba, that whole time?
Yes.
12 years?
The whole time in Pemba.
That is amazing. We're here at an Iris event in Fremont, so we've got people from all over. We're so excited you are here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
And we didn't have to fly all the way to Pemba to see you, which is...
No, I got to fly all the way here to see you.
Yeah, which I like it that way.
Yeah.
You know? Although it's been a while. How different is Pemba now as of 12 years ago?
Very different.
Right?
I think. Very different.
I feel like every time I go, and it's been even 2 years, I'm blown away.
Used to drive 5 minutes from the base and there are no houses. And now you can drive 20 minutes, like down the coast where it's just everything's being developed. Lots of buildings going up. We just got our first major supermarket, which is
so exciting.
very exciting, actually.
Buy
You can go to
things.
one place to get groceries. So Pemba has developed a lot in the past 12 years. It's busier.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And you have been involved in Stop for the One for how long? You've just passed it on recently, but Stop for the One is our sponsorship program, which you were pivotal in developing, and I would love to talk about that a bit.
Okay.
But how long were you involved in that program?
Okay. I have to think about that a minute. I came on when we started, as you said. So that was 2012, maybe?
I'm so bad at
I'm
math.
looking at you because you also were
Right?
part of that. So,
Was I?
yes, I remember you being at meetings, but I think it was around 2012
meetings.
because that was the same time I stepped out of working with our children's center in Pemba. So I transitioned from working with our kids. At that time we had about 200 children living with us full time on the base, and I was working in the children's center. And I transitioned out of that and joined the Stop for the One team to help develop. I mean, part of the team that started it, but really my focus was on community development projects that we would pilot for Stop for the One in Pemba.
Yeah.
So how we can work with communities.
Yeah, so what does that look like? And take us through the different ways that people can sponsor either a child, a classroom, or a village. Is that right?
Yeah, currently the majority of our sponsorships are with kids, for our individual child sponsorships of our children that live in our centers around the world. I think right now we have, I don't know, I shouldn't say how many centers we have on the website right now. But you can go on the site and sponsor one child or more if you'd like.
Or more.
And that is for a child in full-time care with us.
Yes.
It covers the cost of their living, medical, education, food, fun, gifts, everything that.
Which is kind of the classic sponsorship model that people think of.
That is very. It's like
Yeah.
compassion. It's like World Vision. That's for Stop for the One. We also offer sponsorships for our classrooms. We believe in education. Several of our locations around the world have schools, and we want those children who don't. The majority of those kids that go to those schools don't live with us full time. So it's sponsoring those kids.
They're from really impoverished families.
Yes. Yeah, all of where our schools are children from impoverished families, and most of those kids wouldn't be able to go to school if not for those schools that are there, our Iris schools. So it's an amazing opportunity, and we do that in classroom sponsorship. So you sponsor a classroom, and you can usually follow your classroom through from first grade to 12th grade. It depends. It varies,
so
but
awesome.
That's our educational sponsorship is in classrooms. Most of our schools are 1 through 6th or 7th grade, but we have a few schools, especially our Pemba school, which is through 12th grade.
Yeah, and how many kids are in the Pemba school now?
Right now we have 3,500 kids in our Pemba
That's
school.
incredible.
It's amazing. And 3,450 of those kids are from the community.
Yeah. So it's having a much wider reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge impact on the community, for sure. And then, so our third, sponsorship, which you mentioned, is community empowerment.
Yes.
So those are programs that are developed.
And you were really involved in getting that one off the
Yes,
ground.
in working
In Pemba.
working with that in
Yes.
Pemba. So those programs come out of our churches. So it's a project that a church does to help meet the need of a community. So around the globe, that looks differently. The program in Mombasa looks different than our programs in Pemba. It's whatever the church feels is the greatest need in their community. They develop a program from that, and that can be sponsored. In Pemba, that is assistance to families who take care of children without families. So maybe an aunt has taken in her niece and nephew because their parents have died.
Which is really common there.
Very common.
Yes.
And that also keeps
them in families.
Yeah. So they're not growing up in children's centers, which are more institutional.
Yeah.
Not our goal to have institutional centers, but so we support them with food and school assistance, uniforms and school material, and making sure that they have the cost covered to get to school.
Can you tell me a personal story maybe about an impact you saw in that area just through the course of the time that you were working in that program?
Yeah. What we hear most often are kids, is because for those programs out of Pemba, those kids are living in the bush. What we said is the bush.
The bush or the bush.
Yeah.
Depending on how far you go out.
Many of them are maybe miles from schools, too far from school to even be able to go to school, or mud huts. They don't have they don't have a guarantee of food every day.
Yeah.
So
it's really hard to imagine unless you've actually seen it in person.
But it is very much their reality. I can think of one story of a girl who moved after her parents passed away. She moved to a village to live with her aunt or grandmother. I don't remember for sure. But she hadn't been to school in years. She was very sick because she hadn't had good nutrition for years. And she came into the program. And her aunt didn't have the means to support her. She took her in, but she didn't have the means to improve her standard of living.
Right.
So she came into the program having food every day, being able to go to school. She went from malnourished and sick regularly to now she's not. She rarely gets sick, and she is in school every day. She had no dreams or hopes 3 years ago, and now she dreams to be, have a job and to. So it does impact children very directly.
She has a hope for a future.
Change.
And that's through the Stop for the One program.
Yes.
That they're being assisted in that way. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about your transition out of that program. It's kind of off its feet. It's been running.
Yeah. And since doing that, I moved into working with Stop for the One at large, the global program out of our headquarters. Yeah. And the administration of the program, a year ago, or maybe it was a year and a half ago, we took on almost rebranding, a new website, new material. Yeah. So I walked through that with them. And once that was finished, I transitioned out just recently, actually.
And now you're in charge of overseeing the care and support of Iris locations around the world at large. Yeah.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
So my area is called community, but my purpose I have amazing teams that do this. It's not me by myself by any means, but I have really amazing teams, and our heart is to make sure that every member of the Iris Global family are location leaders, whether that's a base or a pioneer or a missionary on the field, feels loved, cared for, connected with, and supported, so that no one that's serving with Iris could say I feel alone, or I don't feel connected to the family.
Have you practically really seen the need for that, living on an Iris in an Iris center for so long, seeing missionaries come in and out?
Which doesn't seem that it could be that way. I mean, in Pemba, I've lived on the base at times with 60 other missionaries.
Yeah, it's huge.
At times with 20 other missionaries. It all fluctuates. But my goal is that any leader, any missionary feels that they have the tools and the support that they need to thrive on the field, to do what the Lord's called them to do.
Yeah.
And that they don't have to feel like they need to quit or burn out, or that they wouldn't burn out, or that because they have
Which
support
happens
services.
so often.
It happens often.
And it makes sense
often.
that it happens. It's really intense
Right.
what people go through.
Right.
And what they do.
So whether my team can step in and provide care in trauma situations, which happens, whether it's a natural disaster or really unfortunate event that happens. We have an amazing team that provides healing and counseling. We also will work with our leaders on leadership development or all sorts of things, just so they can keep doing what the Lord's asked them to do and not have to worry so much about.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot probably, but what's been one of the challenges for you? 12 years on the field. I mean, that's incredible. You're surpassing a lot of short-term missionaries and missionaries I know that have gone in long-term and then gone for a few years and come out. Like, that's a big chunk of time. Just for people to get their heads around, people who are thinking about doing that, going to the field, going long-term to a third world nation. Like, what's been one of the challenges and how have you overcome it?
That's a good question. I definitely, when I left 12 years ago, I thought, maybe I'll do this for 2 years. Like, I didn't go into it thinking this is a long-term, or I'll be here for 2 years and then maybe I'll move somewhere else. So I think, that being said, one of the challenges I've had, I think, is you can get into the motions of doing the stuff and sometimes or get bogged down with the need. You're always confronted with need, especially when you're in communities of extreme poverty, and that's wearing. That's very wearing, and you can get into the rut of feeling like I'm not doing enough, or I can't do enough, or I'm not helping enough. So I think that's a big challenge, especially in an area of extreme need or poverty.
And what are tools that you've found to be helpful in coping with that? Because you're in it. You didn't run away after.
Yeah.
And I
went through seasons where I ran myself ragged because I thought, I have to do more. I have to do more. I can't. There's always a demand. I don't know if I have a great answer for that. I think learning how to balance work and life, personal life. It's so easy to blend all that, and it does blend no matter what. It all blends together. For me, actually, just this year, I finally made transition to living outside the center.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I've been building a house for a few years.
That's right.
It paused for 4 years, actually. And just this Christmas, I got the licenses to start building again. So I am. But in June of last year, I moved off base. And I actually moved to a location where there's lots of missionaries living in that community. Yes, in Mariganya. It's right next to my house.
Beach. There's still a beach.
It's beautiful. But that really helped me to have some separation of work and home, which was, I have a daughter too. So that was,
you have a daughter.
Helped her as well.
You have a very personal connection to this country and place. You're a mom. And what's her name? What's the story?
So Natalia.
Yeah.
She just turned 11 a couple weeks ago. She has a Christmas baby.
Wow.
So she came to live with me when she was about 4 months old. Back then, worked in the baby house. So she came to the baby house.
She's Mozambican.
She's Mozambican. Yeah. She came to the baby house when she was 4 months old. And at that time, she was not well. She was malnourished. She had some medical issues. So she lived with me for 6 months until she was healthy enough to move into the toddler house.
Yeah.
So about a year and a half after she moved into the toddler house, I wanted her to come back and live with me. The bond that was formed while she was living with me never changed. So, she came back 8.5 years ago. She moved back in with me, and she's been with me since. We're still working through the legal adoption side of it, but
isn't that crazy?
She is, that's
wow.
Natalia.
That's so wild. And you're still working through that process. So she'll be able to travel with you and be legally, officially adopted, but it's been in the works for that long.
For a long time.
Yeah.
It has been a difficult process, but we've made a lot of progress in the past couple months, so it actually is looking like that could come to completion in the next.
Wow. And what would you say to people thinking about adopting, especially in that kind of situation where you're overseas and it's maybe not as streamlined or as clear cut as here? And I'm sure there's been challenges with that, like highs and lows with that situation as well. But what are some things that you would say to people?
I'd say I get asked, especially
I'm sure you do.
by single women in
Yeah.
their 20s.
Yes, that's
I
right.
get asked that a lot.
You're a rock star.
It is the best thing and the most difficult thing I've ever done, honest.
Yeah.
So I cannot imagine my life any different, but it's also been the most difficult road I've walked down. And I wouldn't change it, not for a second. So I do usually say to people, I'm encouraging, don't get me wrong, but I say, know that this is what the Lord is ordaining. Know that you know that this is.
Yeah.
It'll be the best, and it'll probably be challenging. But she has blessed me more than I could have ever imagined, for sure. And I love to watch her grow and see what the Lord is doing in her life. I mean, we have such an amazing opportunity to take care of orphans, and that's scriptural.
Yeah.
What do you do for
Yep.
That's purest religion, is take care of the widow and the orphan. I hope someday I get to continue to do that. Maybe there'll be another one, but I think knowing that this is something the Lord for sure has said, do it.
Yeah, come on. And I wondered about that even when you talked about, you had that feeling of, I want her back with me. Is that an instinctual heart level thing that happens? Is it something you had to pray through a lot first before you really knew?
Yeah, because I had always thought I'll never do this.
Really?
Yeah, I had spoken that over myself. I would never adopt a child.
Really? I didn't know
especially
that.
outside of marriage, or I'm not married, so
That's
I would never do that.
That's a different
So it was
thing.
something that snuck up on me. It wasn't something that I went to.
So you automatically
thinking,
knew
I
there's
love
something.
the children. I want to have it. No, it was the opposite of what. So
That's amazing.
It was the
I
opposite.
love that.
So I prayed a lot about it. I prayed a lot about it, and it was important that my family supported me, and that my leadership supported me.
Yeah.
So after a few months of thinking about it myself and praying about it, then I went to my family and asked them how they felt about it. And they were supportive. They were very supportive, which I think shocked me, because I was also thinking, well, if they'll say no, and that'll get me out of this.
Yeah.
So they were very supportive.
That's awesome. That's so amazing. And that came, how long, you just gone through a really difficult situation with another child. Right. Was that right on the tail end of that situation?
It was.
Can you touch on that just even for a minute?
Yeah. In my first year in Pemba, during my first year in Pemba, I took care of.
First year.
Yeah, I took care of two. I moved to Pemba to work in the baby house.
Yeah.
That was my first job.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was just starting. So a lot of the children we were getting at that time were very sick. So they came and lived with me until they were well enough to move in with the rest of the children. And we were training the tias that take care of the kids how to take care of these babies with some of them really awful illnesses. So anyways, during that year, I had two infants that came to live with me that passed away. And one of them, Lori, had been with me 6 months and passed away. And so after that happened, it was about 11 months into my first year, I thought, I'm done.
Yeah.
I get to go home in a couple weeks. I probably won't come back. This is not what I signed up
The
for.
fact that that happened your first year there is mind-blowing.
So I did come back. I took a longer break than expected, and I did come back to Pemba. And very shortly, maybe 2 months into being back, Natalia arrived on base, and she was also malnourished and very sick and had a lot of things going against her.
Did you feel at all like your heart was kind of closed off to her in that way? Or was it really easy still to take in a baby and love her in that way? And
it was very difficult at first. I didn't want to, and I actually, at the time, I didn't quite understand it, but I was forced to, in a good way. They knew, the director of the Children's Center knew that it was I think what I needed.
Yeah.
And she didn't give me the option because I said, no, I'm not taking this child in. You know, she can live with this person or this person or this. And they said, no, she's going to live with you.
Wow. So
she was a huge part of my healing process. I felt very strongly when she did come to live with me that I should name her Joy. And the Lord showed me that, one, her name is Joy. Her middle name, I kept her first name, will be Joy because that's going to be the source of her strength and one of her tools of influence around the world when she's older. Well, and even as she's growing. Yeah. But also that her joy, that gift, would turn my mourning into joy. So she was part of my healing, a huge part of my healing process.
Yeah. That's amazing.
And that's her name. Her name is Natalia Joy. Yeah.
My middle name's Joy.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a good one.
It really is a good one.
So.
Oh, so awesome. And she's in Pemba right now.
She is in Pemba right now.
That's probably the hardest part about being away.
It is very hard.
Yep. So it's a new year, 2018. Do you have any goals for this year going back in Pemba? What does that look like for you this year?
Yeah, this year I'm excited about this year, mostly because this adoption is going to go through.
Yes.
So that's a big thing. We've been waiting 8 years for, so it's a big year. And then I live in Pemba full time for sure, but I travel quite a bit. So I visit some locations. We have gatherings with the family. So we have our big family gathering in August. We're getting all of the family together.
Everyone's
coming to Orlando for our 1 week event, which we're very excited about. So that's a big part of my year, is getting ready for that. And one of the wonderful things about Pemba, one of the many wonderful things about Pemba, and for my job, is so many of our family come through Pemba. We have Harvest School on. They visit. They come and speak. So
there's a lot going on in Pemba.
Yeah, I visit locations.
That is a hub.
But they also come to Pemba. So June through November, I'm getting to spend time with the family as they come see us.
Living as a missionary, and again, it's been over a decade now, are you about where you always thought you would be, or is it just completely mind-blowing that you're still doing this? And yeah.
No, I still don't
believe it's
don't believe it sometimes, but I also I cannot imagine a life different than this. I don't even know how to think about, I could live in America, or I don't even know how to
do that.
What that would look like.
Yep.
I get to work with the amazing team in our Northern California office. And I hope that I do get to come here more often and work with them directly instead of always on Zooms or through email. Yeah. So I do see that being part of our life in the future, but I can't imagine leaving Pemba fully.
So you didn't grow up thinking, I'm going to be a missionary long term?
I didn't, but not at all. But listen to this. And I went to college, and it was, I don't know how I found it.
What'd you major in college?
Social work.
I thought that. I was almost going to say, did you get your master's in it?
No, I did my master's in organizational leadership.
Oh.
A little different.
You're using that one.
I do.
You use both of those a ton.
I just did it a couple years ago. I just finished it.
Oh, that's amazing.
But in college, I ended up at a small Christian Methodist liberal arts college that was all MKs. And I had no
Did that
real
make
reference.
it more of a party school or less of a party school?
A little bit less.
A little bit less, okay.
That
can really go either way.
No Greeks. It was Salvation Army, World Gospel Mission, which is another missions organization, and OMS, another. Those were the kind of student clubs.
Wow.
So to give you an idea of what in central Kentucky. But anyways.
So you ended up there at this tiny.
I ended up there, which is the Lord.
Very conservative.
I couldn't have, very conservative. Very conservative.
You're from a Christian family, though.
I am.
Yes.
I
Okay.
did grow up. But not, I am from a Christian family. Let's not disqualify that statement. Absolutely. A really amazing, beautiful, beautiful Christian family.
Yes.
So I was introduced to career missionaries. I had done mission trips with my youth group, but I
passed out the food.
Yeah. Build
a house.
Wall. Yeah, like roof.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd done that several times. My church that I grew up in was really missions focused, but it was never a way that I didn't understand about career missionaries or.
Right, that was a way of life.
Preconceived notion about a very conservative move to another country for your entire life. Anyways, so I got to know more missionaries and be exposed to it, and I thought, I want nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
But I love social work, and I love culture. I love traveling.
Yeah.
So I always felt called to move somewhere, but I wanted to do it like humanitarian route. I thought, I'll go that route. I'll look at. So I tried a lot, and every door shut, and eventually, my brother said,
Will Hart, COO.
Will Hart, William.
That's COO, right?
William.
I'm so bad at titles around here.
He is
COO.
our COO.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's the real deal. It's high up there.
He had been visiting Iris with Randy Clark.
Yep.
And he had been telling me for over a year, you should come with me. You should visit Iris. So one trip I went with him. And I'm sure you don't remember this, but I met you.
We met.
Because you came into, side note, I was in the room with Will and Moosey. They were newly married. And you came in to invite them, greet them.
Yeah.
Because you were in Zimpetu at the time.
Yeah. That's back in the day.
Yeah. And I met Marissa.
Yes, that's my angel cousin.
She was there that week. I was there as well.
Nice.
I got off track and I don't remember.
No.
I remember what your question was.
I love it. I love it.
I never thought I'd be a missionary. I really didn't want to. I was a little judgmental about it, actually.
I understand.
So, anyways, I ended up there. William said, "Come with me." I loved it, and I definitely understood that that's what the Lord wanted me to do, and he opened the doors, and a year later I ended up in Pemba.
Wow.
Almost a year and a half or 2 years after that, my mom found a letter that I wrote when I was 6 that she had no memory of and I had no memory of.
I love these stories.
I wrote, I'm going to be a missionary. And
you knew, but you didn't know.
When I was 6, and I wrote it all out. I'm going to be a missionary, and my family's going to love the Lord. But that was nothing. I don't have no recollection of doing it. She was like, I don't remember ever seeing this
or hearing this.
Yeah, or this is so out of. Wow. So I guess I did know.
Yeah,
a long
deep
time
down.
ago.
How crazy is that?
So
it was always in you.
It was always in me.
Yep, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Or
the flip side is I fought it for a long time. I tried to suppress it.
And the Lord
wouldn't let me.
Okay.
And here I am.
Good shout out though to people who are kind of feeling that, but also pushing it away.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like that feeling's gonna keep coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to single women who feel like they should adopt. That's so awesome.
It is.
I love it.
It is.
So you're kind of in Pemba indefinitely then.
I am in Pemba. Wow. I love it. It's home.
Yep.
And I want Natalia to always
know where she's from.
Have her home there, and she will.
But she's also going to be able to travel the world.
Yes.
Which will be amazing.
She's gotten to travel with me a little bit. just hasn't made it to America yet. But we've gone other places together, which has been awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited to see you guys maybe next time in Pemba, I hope.
Yeah. You have to come out.
It's been 2 years, which freaks me out.
Has it been that long?
Yes, more.
Oh my God.
But my husband's a little skittish lately about Zoe on like a 2-day. I have a 2.5-year-old, and traveling to Pemba is serious.
It is.
It is like legit. And I used to do it like, this is no big deal, right? And now I'm like, woo.
It's 30 hours
it is,
of flying and
it really
2
is.
days of travel.
Do you have travel tips? No? There's no, is there any way to cope with this? I think people ask me that, and I'm like, it's kind of an endurance thing. It just is. It just is.
Yep.
But I hope we get to go there soon.
I hope so too.
And I'm sure it's going to be so different again. I haven't even seen the supermarket, which I'm jealous. Nathan went recently and is obviously yelling, as you can imagine. I can't do it justice. Amazing. This is a quieter podcast than normal because Nathan's not here.
Yeah.
Pointing at a map.
Yeah.
Being like, that's Pemba! So yeah, that's what I'm doing. To wrap up, we have a few questions, which we probably asked you last time, but actually the reason Emelyn's podcast never aired was we were hysterically laughing so hard none of us could recover.
We had a good time.
That's what happened.
But it didn't translate well.
It was amazing. It was fun. But we have a few rather ridiculous questions.
All right.
First off, what's your favorite movie?
I know. I really, I don't have favorite movies, or I go back and forth. I was sharing with you earlier that I really enjoyed Moana, which was over a year ago. Or a year ago that I saw it.
Parents, it can be hard to see a lot of movies sometimes.
I really loved that movie.
I did too. It's a good one. Ocean. It's what, the ocean. It's my favorite. Are you a mountains or beach person?
Beach. I grew up on the ocean.
Yeah.
I like to be near the ocean.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you could pursue any other profession, what would it be? This could be like...
I'm going to tell you what was the first thing that came to my head, which is ridiculous. Because I can't. I could never do it.
Okay.
I would be a backup singer for a superstar. So that but I can't sing, and I could never. I mean,
but that makes it such a good one.
But if I could do anything, I would want to do that.
But I
want to be in a huge,
I love
charged place, but be in the background.
I was gonna say you want to experience it, but you don't want to be the star. You don't want to be the star.
That's a crazy. I would never pursue it. But if
I love that your dream profession's like the background singer, not the main person.
No,
because it'd be so fun.
Because you can participate in the awesomeness of the event.
Yeah.
But you're not front and center.
I like it. I really love that. I just found out that about you. This is kind of a weird one. Favorite sound?
I'm going with the first thing that comes to my mind.
I like it.
Hopefully it's not.
That's how these work.
Natalia laughs.
Yes.
Crazy, and it's so joyful and amazing.
There's really no other answer if you're a parent. It's just true. It's just the best thing in the universe. And finally, what is? I'm thinking of Nathan because he always does this one, and he does it so well. But I'm like, when it's all said and done, and you're at the pearly gates, and you see Jesus.
I remember.
Which is kind of funny because what do you want to hear him say? Which is kind of funny because a lot of Christians obviously will be like, well done. Because that makes sense. But it's kind of an in addition. Sort of
I know,
question.
and I would say that. That would be the first thing I would say. Well done.
Yeah.
And I mean that because I think my insecurity is I'm not doing this well enough. That's sort of an inner dialogue. So it's legit that I do want to hear that. Yeah. I don't know outside of that.
Well done. Here's a hug.
Yeah, here's a hug. I think no, I don't know. No.
You were like, not that.
No, not that. I don't want to say that in front of everyone.
Do you want to go see like the big roller coasters or anything?
No.
No? It's not. You're like, definitely not that.
I think like here's some alone time.
That's a good one.
Here, go.
Oh my goodness. busy missionary parent of a lifetime.
I love
that's a good
I love
one.
my
Go have some
recharge
alone time for like a couple
in this beautiful space
for like
with,
centuries. And it'll
not centuries, but
it'll all pass by quickly.
Yeah.
And, you know, like there's no like time really, so it can as much as you need, and then come back to the party.
Yeah, because it will be.
It will be. I like it.
It will be a party.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Emelyn, for being here. I know podcasts aren't your favorite all the time, but we did it.
We did
it. You're
well
a rock
done.
star.
Well done.
Well, thank you. You are such a rock
great.
star. You're so inspiring. You truly, truly are.
Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed hearing some of Emelyn's amazing story. And if you feel that tug for missions, for adoption, for social work, for making a difference, just that hearing her story has inspired you as much as it does me. And if you have questions or comments you'd like to hear us ask future guests, you can leave them in the comment section under our YouTube channel. So many words. And you can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, bye.
This podcast is presented by Iris Global. For more information or to support the work of Iris Global, please visit us online at irisglobal.org.